Naam, atafutaye hachoki, akichoka kishapata. Welcome to our today's show. I'm your host Levina Msiko, and our guest is Michael Ngala. Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning to you. How are you?
I'm fine.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you
Welcome
for
to our
coming.
today's show.
Thank you.
Who is this Michael Ngala?
Oh, that's a good question, Madam Levina. Ngala Michael is a man from Migori County, Nyatike sub-county. And I come from a ward called North Kadim. North Kadim. Yeah.
Is it just in this Migori County?
I know, in fact, that is the best place that people have ever known. Kadem is in Nyatike.
Nyatike.
Yeah. So I'm from that place. And let me stop it there. You questioned or you asked, who is this Michael Ngala? I have mentioned my name and the place where I come from.
Actually, Michael, what makes Michael Ngala? What makes Michael Ngala?
Oh, what makes Michael Ngala? That is, it seems a bit complicated, but I will try my level best to respond to it. I want to tell you that Michael Ngala is somebody who has been struggling to achieve in life, although through difficulties and challenges. But what I've learned is that all is possible provided you have the determination and all that it takes and the passion. By the way, I've been inspired by a lot of people, or many people around me, or wherever I go, I see people who inspires me in life. And always when I listen to their stories, they are challenging. But at the end of it, they achieve. Therefore, I do follow that, and I have that capacity. I know that I can make it.
What are these challenges that you are facing, like that you're feeling actually they are bitter and actually that at a point encouraging?
All right, that's a good one. And I want to tell you, Levina, that it's very common and normal that with human beings, we have that life process that every human being has to undergo. And we expect good in life always. When you are born, from being a kid, as you grow, coming to be an adult, there is that life process that one would want to go through.
Yeah.
But somehow in some point you realize that you don't meet the expectations. So these challenges include the learning process, whatever, feeding and everything. Of course, I have undergone a lot. Starting from my education, I would want to tell you that, in fact, the good story or the worst story is, if right now you can ask me where I started my education, I will not mention the pre-primary, the baby class or whatever. What I know is class 8. No, class 3 I mean, sorry. Class 3. And this because of the former retired president, Mwai Kibaki. When he came into power, he said that all children who are at the age of going to school must go back to school. And that's the time I went back to school. I had left the school long time ago. And I became a fisherman around Lake Victoria.
So you became a fisherman when you even reached even class 3?
Of course, yes. The reason being, unfortunately, my father and my mother, they never stayed together for a long time. There are people who sometimes they could come together, sometimes they were departing due to some family feuds and whatever. Yeah, so because of that, we faced challenges. We were never raised as a family. Some of my siblings were staying somewhere. I also stay with my mother like that. Yeah.
Can you give now me your education background, starting from now standard 3, after the reign of
Yes. All right. Now, from class 3, during that reign, I want to tell you that I went through the primary education session. From class 3, 4, up to class 8, I didn't repeat any class, and this follows my academic capability. I did my class 8 in 2008. Yeah, that is when President Barack Obama was coming into power. So we have at least something to use as a reference. Yeah, so then I joined Form 1. Though after doing my class 8, I wasn't aware that one day I will join the secondary school. In class 8, I scored some 344 marks. But I want to tell you, I wasn't aware whether we'll go to secondary due to financial constraints. But luckily enough, I went to my uncle's home, and he told me that if you want to go to secondary school, then we have not to choose. But what you will do, there is a school that is being started here. So if you're ready, please let's go and look for the admission. I accepted the talk with my uncle. I went and joined that school. It's called St. Paul in Malunga High School next to Ulanda Girls. So I joined Form 1. After joining Form 1, my mother was working at Migingo Island. So she could raise some few money to pay for me as my school fee. I went until I reached Form 2, but after reaching Form 2, unfortunately my mom fell sick and she could no longer achieve some money or get some money. So from there I began facing a lot of challenges. And then in Form 3, I want to tell you that I decided to improvise a way of achieving or acquiring my school fee. I therefore looked for some project which I talked to my principal, former principal, Mr. Kapis Babu, and he accepted that I could be given that opportunity. Then after that, there is this, the live fencing, Kayapa, I don't know how they call it, but I was given that tender, I did it, and I raised 15,000 from it, which counted for my fee.
So this 15,000
yes.
could cut up your whole fees?
Not really.
4 years?
No. Even by that time I had some huge balance, but my principal was understanding.
And was it your mom only struggling for your fees? What about with your dad?
By that time, because I told you very well, from doing class 8, my dad financially was not stable, and he was somebody taking these illicit brews and whatever, anything that makes somebody appear drunk. So he was somebody who was not, he did not care about it. So he was not able to produce some money or contribute. So I want to tell you that from there, Form 3 until Form 4, I really struggled, and by that time my mom was also down. So what happened is that when I was in now Form 4, that is 2012, my dad fell sick, and unfortunately by March he passed on. He died, and by then we were almost registering for the exams. So I told my principal that to me, I am not seeing myself being registered. Reason being, I was not having the 6,000 which was needed for registration, but I had 2,000 shillings. He told me that go home and do the burial of your dad and come back to school. I will do all it takes to register you. And I want to thank God he did it. After burying my dad, I went back and I was registered. To make the story short, I was registered. I did my 4th form in 2012, and I scored a grade of B-. But after this, I want to tell you, I had a huge balance of 34,000 in that school. But God works miraculously. After doing that, I went and talked to my principal, who agreed to give me my certificate with only 5,000 paid out of 34,000. That's why I tell you that all is possible, and I believe.
You believe?
Yeah.
Actually, this has been Michael Ngala has undergone through a lot, and we have been in Dusty Path's show. Continues shortly after the break. Welcome back to the show. This is our guest, Michael Ngala. Michael Ngala.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you.
What happened after Form 4?
After Form 4, it has been very obvious that after doing the Form 4, you know,
That is in the year 2012.
yeah, as youths we believe that after Form 4, life starts from there and we expect good.
Yeah.
But to me, it was never the same, and it was very different. This because after scoring that grade, I wasn't able to join the REUBEN University, implying that I had to apply for parallel course. But then due to financial constraints, I wasn't able to do it by my own. Therefore, I was trying to look at anybody who could offer assistance to me, but in vain. So what I did, I traveled to Migingo Island, this island that brings conflicts between Kenya and Uganda. So when I was in that place, what I did, because I feared going to the lakes to go and fish and maybe sleep over there, because I was observing how the lakes are and whatever, the waves, the tides. So I was afraid. Therefore I said, instead of going, let me improvise what I could do on that island. So what I did is that I decided to be a cobbler. That person who, the shoe mender, yeah, which I did for almost 1 year. I was making shoes or repairing shoes for people, they were paying me.
So, just mending shoes, was it actually possible for you to cater for your basic needs, that is housing, food and rent, and clothing actually, and have some cash in your pocket.
All right. Now, actually, I want to tell you that in terms of accommodation, I wasn't really spending much. The reason being, there were some people whom my mother used to work for there. So when I went back, they welcomed me and they housed me. They gave me the house plus the bed plus everything. So I was only maybe spending on some few items, etc., and maybe sending some money home for assistance, maybe to my mother and any other. So I was not paying rent. Now what happened is that the problem is the money in that island, on that island, is seasonal. Sometimes there is availability of fish, sometimes it's not there. So you realize that sometimes it becomes very hard to survive. So actually, whatever little I was getting could sustain me for the time being. But I was focused on education, so I sat and realized that this could not help me manage myself. And I was almost losing concentration in the line of education. So there are some people who advised me that if you are really, or you mean it, that you want to achieve in education, you better quit this place. Therefore, I had made a decision to leave that place in the year 2014. Yeah, coming back home, I was employed as a BOM teacher in my neighboring high school.
Just a form for you as a teacher?
Of course. Yeah, even you can do it.
No.
Depending on the skills you have and the experience and how you see people doing it.
You must have a TSC number.
Or by then I wasn't having the TSC number, but actually what made me to be called is because of the ability, academic ability, my former teacher knew that I had. So he called me because the school was just being started. So we were among the pioneer teachers who started the school. Yeah, actually, I was not going there to be the principal or maybe as a senior teacher. Although I am very sure that the required knowledge and skills I had not maybe achieved. But I could do my level best. So I taught there for some time, of which later I met some my area MCA who accepted to sponsor my education. He advised me to come and look for the fee structure and everything. He was ready to sponsor. I came to this same institution where we are in today, and I came for the admission. I took the fee structure, I took to him. After looking at the fee structure, he accepted that he will do his level best to see me through. Then I was to join by 2015 January, but he told me to defer to May, of which I did. Yeah. So the reason as why he was telling me that is because he was claiming that he had a lot of students whom he was sponsoring by then, including his own children. So I listened to him and accepted. Now I was all of the duration, I knew that I was to join by May. I now left my place home and came to town, Migori, to stay with him, knowing very well that all could go well. When it came to May, I was in the house until it was now approaching June. Then the wife intervened and told him, "You promised Ngala that he will be going to school by May. Time is overlapping. Please, can you do something?" Then he gave some little money. I came with that money here. I paid some fees. Others I used for registration and etc. But then I want to tell you, unfortunately, after taking my studies throughout the semester, that is 2015 August, I wasn't able to sit for my exams. The reason being the fee was not paid. So I took my belongings and went back to Migori, to my uncle's place, of which later, having realized that he was not able to respond to my call, I went to Garissa, Northeastern, to look for what I could do to make life proceed or go on. So I went there. Luckily, I got some work in a high school, of which I was being paid some good money. So I realized that instead of just sitting down and time goes, let me join any institution so that the money I get here, I get it and I pay to school. I therefore made a decision to go to KC campus, where I joined as a school-based student. Then that is 2016 April. I want to tell you that in the whole of the process, 2016 up to 2017, I was in school, and part of 2018, and I was done with my second year. But during that time, there was insecurity escalation in Northeastern. So I made a decision. We were forced to come back. Now coming back to Nyanza, as you understand, these schools around doesn't pay well. So I could not sustain my school fees that were required. I therefore made a decision to defer, and I stopped going now back to school, TC institution, yeah. So after that, I met my area MP, whom I explained myself to sufficiently, and he listened to me and told me that if you want to go back to school, I can see you are inspired. What you can do, it's better you stop going to PC, because all the students we sponsor takes their courses at Rongo University. Therefore, if you are willing, you make a decision of not going back to PC, but to come back to Rongo. So I had to forgo the 2 years that I was done with at PC.
So when you joined Rongo University, yes, you joined as a first year?
Of course, even right now, I am a first year.
Are you a first year?
Of course.
Wow. Anyway, dreams are valuable.
Yeah, I believe, yeah.
Dreams are valuable.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Now, right now, I'm in this institution as a first year. My hopes and beliefs is that all is possible and no man is limited.
No man is limited.
So I am here knowing very well that through God, I will make it, I will succeed just like other people have done it. Yes.
Actually, this has been Dusty First Show. Welcome back after the break. Welcome back to the show. Michael Ngala.
Yes.
Actually, you are doing education in this campus.
Yes.
Apart from education, what are the other main objectives that you want to do actually in future?
Okay, as a human being who is inspired, right now I'm taking education, but I'm longing to find myself in the field of journalism. But as for now, I'm taking education due to influence from my sponsor. And I'm saying this because there is that belief that when you take these other courses, then employment opportunities might be limited later. So when we were talking or sharing with him, he told me just to come for education. So
education, a combination of?
I take Swahili history. Yes. So I decided just to come for that. But I'm very sure that after stabilizing or after the completion of my course later on, I will ensure that I do all it takes to find myself into the field where I'm interested in.
Journalism?
Yes.
So you have passion in journalism?
Very well.
Huh?
Yeah.
So if you do journalism, let's say for example,
yeah,
what field will you major in?
All right. I can do news anchoring, and I can be commentator. I can do so many things.
So many things.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Last question to you, Michael Ngala. Who inspires you?
The person who inspires me includes you, because when you look at somebody, how the person appears and whatever he does or she does will make you get encouraged also to look like him or her. When I say that, I mean that around me or where I come from or where I work, I look at people staying around, the people I meet, the people I socialize with. There are people who struggle to achieve in life, and when you look at their life, they live that lucrative life. Yeah. So I also get inspired that I want to be like them. Yeah, so many people, including my former principal, that man was a gentle guy. So many people, yeah, even in the field of journalism, there are so many people. Yeah, I can't mention all, but generally, those people who have achieved in life inspires me. Yeah.
Hey guys, this has been Dusty First Show, and we have our guest, Michael Ngala. This has been a man who has undergone through, and today he's leading us a testimony. He just encourages people and does what he's willing to do. Actually, dreams are valued. This has been Dusty First Show. Welcome to the next week episode. Thank you, Michael Ngala.
Thank you too.
Next time.
Thank you.